Good morning. Welcome to Grandma's Table. Just finishing up my coffee here, and then I can have a sip with you. I'm so glad you're here. It is, if you're watching this on the day it's produced, it's December 1st. Advent started yesterday, and I'm going through the book of Isaiah. I'm just doing a survey. So, a survey is not a deep, in depth study, it is a read through and what catches my brain. Um, so anytime you hear like Old Testament survey or New Testament survey, it's an overview of what's gone on in a holy text. So that's what I'm doing for Advent on my personal um, meditations. And so obviously in Isaiah 1 to 3, which is the foundation of what is happening in this book, and the reason I picked it is because it's a prophetic book that talks about how um, the Son of God will enter the world, right? So it's just saying, hey, this is what's going to happen, and then Jesus fulfills these prophecies. Anyway, but one of the things that struck me was as we look at the world around us and how difficult it is right now, and there's a lot of arguing, especially among Christians, on how we're supposed to follow Christ. Um, there's a lot of fight for the top, fight for power, me, 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 me. And some would say, hey, Merritt, you're doing it too because you're putting yourself out on the interwebs and you're wanting attention. Well, yeah, I chat about what I'm learning. And if it affects anybody and helps anybody, great. If not, I've chatted with you this morning and I am doing better because of it. So, but Isaiah sets the stage of how in exile these Israelites are, the Jewish people. And they're basically, they have been seeking power and seeking themselves and seeking to just be inward focused. And in that, instead of welcoming the stranger, the foreigner, the alien, whatever we want to call them, the person that is alien to this land, instead of welcoming them, the stranger overtook them, and now they're in exile. And I think there's a lot of talk right now. I got into it with somebody last week about how we describe visitors, new people to Canada. First of all, my family, I'm first generation on my dad's side because he was not born in Canada. And so I have to be very careful of my privilege. And there's a lot of people who have come to this beautiful world of Canada, and because they don't look European, they get picked on a lot. And some of their habits and some of their traditions that they're bringing with them, they're foreign to us. And instead of welcoming and saying, okay, here's how you can step it up to Canadian standards, here's how we do things here, teach us your ways and we'll learn from you, but this is what we do. Instead of welcoming them, there's this conflict with the stranger. And that conflict puts everyone in a state of exile, a state of anger, a state of division, a state of constant uh, rubbing up against each other like sandpaper, this constant friction. And I thought, oh, that's us. That's what the world was like when we were promised a savior, and you can see it in so many situations in today's world. We're desperate for something different, but we somehow think that putting ourselves first and stepping up the us, the inward focus is going to do that. But if we open up this way, hands can clasp other hands, and I can hold yours, you can hold mine. But if I go this, it's each to their own and against each other. Me against the world. Ah! And everybody's filled with anxiety and pain and depression and struggle and grumpiness because we don't do this. So I challenge you today, hold whatever you're struggling with open hands. If you see somebody that looks, smells, does things different than you do, investigate, ask, ask questions. Hey, I'd love to learn from you. Can you show me why? Can you? I have two of the most beautiful neighbors down the hall, and they always, always, always will answer my questions about how they wear their scarves on um, certain days and what celebrations they are doing. Like they will always, and they will always wish me um, Christian blessings, like Merry Christmas. They do not hesitate whatsoever to be friendly neighbors and to answer. So you never know who you could meet if you just learn to embrace someone a little bit different than you, because you don't know when you're going to need them too. Be a good neighbor. That's what was getting Israel into all this trouble, was they weren't good neighbors. And they needed to be saved from themselves. And I think the world needs to be saved from itself right now. And if shedding a little bit of light by being loving, by being that love your neighbor as you love yourself person, if that can be and bring salvation, then let's get at it. That's the most important part of this season. Feet on the ground, head in the clouds. Know that I love you. Sorry it took so long today. Mwah. Bye.